It's a very strange thing with self-care because it's like you you need to have discipline to care about yourself in a way because a lot of people can be busy. You can I think it's not that difficult to make yourself busy.
It's super easy to
It's
make
very
yourself
easy.
busy.
Um, but I think taking care of yourself while doing that takes a bit more discipline.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Human Library Podcast, to another wonderful episode. Today, it will be Aslan and myself. As you can see already, Mehdi's not with us. The reason why is because he went to find himself in Thailand in some brothels and stuff like that. Just joking. He went on a trip. He will join us for the next episode for sure. For this episode, we wanted to keep it simple and easy, to keep it a little bit more dynamic at the same time. So we decided to talk a little bit about our lives, our schedules, how we manage self-care with our busy schedules. That will be the topic for today's podcast, for today's episode. This is something that I believe the three of us, even though it's going to be only Aslan and myself, we're going to be speaking of it, who have it within our hearts, because we're constantly trying to learn new things, to open our horizons on other subjects, professionally, personally, and for the sake of the podcast as well. And in my personal experience, I can tell it has been a roller coaster, because there has been the way you juggle the activities and everything that you need to do in one day becomes so important, and then if something might go a little bit off, then everything kind of collapses in your head, but you make the importance of it, you can also bounce back. We're gonna exactly speak about all of this that happen in our lives, and maybe you can relate and take some things with you, and maybe have it apply it on your own personal life, for your schedule, your work, whatever it may help. So yeah.
Yep.
I don't know if you want to start or...
Yeah, sure.
Perfect.
I have a question. So you mentioned something about, well, first let's just start with mentioning that obviously, a typical busy person's day is just packed with things they have to do, places they have to be, and it's just, if you look at it as your week, for example, I had a pretty busy week this week.
It was insane for me as well, man. It was
Yeah,
insane.
it was very, I'm actually, and it's Sunday now as we're recording this, and it's very relieving for me. I feel very okay, I came out successful, I'm alive. But there were quite a few points of challenge this week that I was that were leading up to a few events, like a call with a client, and then I did this masterclass workshop for friends. But we're here, it's all good. And then obviously, for a lot of
We're alive.
we're alive.
I love it.
And for Adriano, it was a lot of personal obligations
As well.
Your mom is visiting you.
Yeah, and my mom is in the house, so of course when you have a guest in your house, you try to make their stay the more pleasing and fun, and but it takes energy, man. It takes energy out of you.
It's like modifying your kind of schedule, your behaviors as well, in a way, right? Or no?
Yeah. For example, this past week and the last week as well for work, it's also the end of the year for our business, the company I work for, and it's also the financial closure, the closure of the financial year as well. So you have a lot of stuff going on, and that's that becomes priority. That was priority this past week, right? So I focused when I woke up. The first thing I was normally I wake up around 7, and I'm at the gym at 7:30. I come back at 8:30, take a quick shower, and at 9 I'm in the office, where I'm in front of the computer working, right? And this week I was I have a lot of work to do, so I'm not gonna do the gym in the morning.
Okay.
I'm gonna just take it off because my priority right now is getting my job fulfilled.
Yeah.
That's where I get my bread from. So
Yeah.
and I had a responsibility on. We had some coworkers or colleagues, actually, they're colleagues from me, that were on holidays.
Yeah.
So you also have from your normal responsibility on top whatever they give you like while they're away. So it became a little bit
Yeah.
hectic, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm gonna sacrifice the morning gym, even though for me it's very important, like gym and training and stuff. Like it helps my mental health so much.
Yeah.
It stresses me out the same way, like personally, because then I'm also focusing that you need to train, you need to go, you need to
Yeah.
you need to perform, you need to do this
Yeah.
shit, and it's on myself. Like this
Yeah.
is like a burden I put myself, but it's like at the same time after like I did it or stuff, I feel so good. I feel so nice. I'm like, okay, out of the way, like check,
Yeah.
like I'm good for doing everything else I need to do. So this week I had to sacrifice the gym, which I was not happy at all, but whatever. And then during work, there was so much work that I needed to stay after hours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I had to sacrifice training. Yeah, so it was horrible. So like then I was like finishing work and stuff. I was like, okay, it's too late to go training because the class already started like 30 minutes ago
Yeah.
or 45 minutes ago. I was like, or like, to be honest, I'm mentally tired that I cannot go to the next class. So I was like, instead of just staying put and being like, that's it, just throw myself in the couch, turn the TV, and just wait for the night to come. I was like, I need to be active. So I went for a run.
Okay, good.
Keep it balanced. Like maybe that's the thing. People tend to just like find an excuse to don't do anything.
Yeah.
And the thing is that you need to find an excuse to do something.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I cannot go to the gym like today, but I do have 35 minutes free of time.
Yeah.
I can skip rope in my house.
Yeah.
I can do yoga from your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I can I can be active. I can go for like a fast paced walk. Like like something to keep you. That's something that for like Conor McGregor also said on one of his speeches. I know Conor McGregor. I actually like the dude, but you'll figure out yourself. Well, one of the things he said in one of on one of his speeches was like, you need to find something to do because people tend just to find something not to do in in these lines, not exactly these words, but in these lines, which like resonated with me because it's the same idea, no? And also it's like helpful also for your mental health and stuff like that. Because at the end of the night, at the end of the day, in the night, you'll be like, okay, I had so much and I had to sacrifice so much to finish this, but I was good because even though I adapted to the occasion, I ended up doing something that made me feel active.
Yeah.
I continue reading my book. I continue doing my meditation even though I sacrifice the gym, like I try to balance shit out.
Yeah.
So this is, for example, this week. I don't know, how do you handle it?
Actually, it's very interesting that you mentioned about the gym. I think that's kind of or like exercising. That's like one of the common topics around this, like self-care is like exercising. It everyone says it's beneficial, and but also what you've mentioned from your experience is that okay, it's a really really busy schedule, and sometimes you have to sacrifice certain things, which a lot of people don't mention. I think when it comes to, they say like, oh, I get up at this time, I do this workouts, and then you think they're just machines doing this all the time.
Yeah, like robots.
Yeah, but in reality, it doesn't look as clean as that. Sometimes you have to compromise or you have to figure things out, right?
It's because that's life. Like, in a perfect world, you will be able to do everything you want to and still feel like have the energy to do more stuff.
Yeah.
And for example, we don't have a family, we don't have kids or anything like that. We're not married. Imagine people with kids. It's like, Jesus, I see my colleagues at the gym, at work. They're like, I need to leave 15 minutes earlier today to pick up my kids, but then I'll be working from home to finish everything I needed to do today, which I can't because I need to pick up my kids.
Yeah.
So it's like they're balancing their like busy schedule with family and stuff, and they have their priorities, and they manage it the way they need to manage it, right? So
For people that are not, let's say someone who's not exercising or someone who doesn't have this integrated in their routine. I know a lot of people who are they're harder to convince, like they're kind of questioning these things because you think like, okay, I have a busy schedule, I'm tired as fuck. Why should I exercise? Why should I make my day harder? That's how they see it.
Fair,
Yeah.
but uh,
From your experience,
in
how
my
does that
experience,
help you? Because I know that you push yourself a lot when it comes
yeah,
to exercising. You're preparing for a fight, and
yeah,
that's like as much as you can do, probably.
yeah. I'm doing an amateur MMA fight,
Yeah.
so I'm a little bit nervous about that. But let's see how it works.
But it's like interesting how because you could go light, like you could go very light, and maybe that's how it starts. But what's your personal rationale around it? How does that help you?
I love this phrase saying like, um, easy choices, hard life. Hard choices, easier life.
Okay.
The easier choices you make, you're gonna be having a harder life, health wise, sorry, social wise, how do you say this? Sorry, I've totally forgot now. On your work, on professional
Yeah.
wise,
Yeah.
if you keep postponing things or like you just don't tackle the hard things to begin with, you're gonna end up paying for it. It's like they say that there's two type of pains: the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. For everyone who is not an exercise freak or like a gym rat or something like that, I don't know how many times I've read these type of things on social media. Um, you need to have a little bit of an active life for yourself. Activity helps boosts the brain.
Yeah.
So if you're like a very intellectual person and you focus on like reading books and doing everything like, I don't know, design for example, yourself, or like coding and stuff, if you're an active person, this will give you like brain agility and you will do things faster because you're feeding the brain with endorphins that will help it like function properly.
Yeah.
You don't have to go and do a fucking Ironman,
Yeah.
but do something. The
Yeah.
body was not made to be static.
Yeah.
That's one of the issues that we have in modern society, that people tend to not do shit. And that's why we're full of diseases. We have like the highest obesity in human history. Of course, this is related to different countries and societies and whatsoever. But these are things that are actually real.
Yeah.
They're measured, like scientifically proven. It's not bullshit. We're not pulling this out of our asses.
Yeah.
Like, it is like this. I can tell you in my personal level, the mornings I wake up, because I always wake up and I'm like, fuck it, I don't want to go.
Yeah.
It's cold outside, or my bed is so warm, or it's like when it was hot, like the fan felt so nice, like the cool breeze of the fan. I don't want to, because I wake up, drink a coffee, wash my face, and I start running to the gym. That's how I begin with. So I can already start warm up there.
Yeah.
Then I skip rope, I do heavy weights, I do a little bit of heavy bags, and then I come back, take a shower, go to work. And then I'll come back in the afternoon to do proper training of Muay Thai, MMA, or grappling. And some days I even stay there for 2 classes. It will depend. At the end of the day, I feel so good though.
Yeah.
I sleep like a baby. My body soars, but if it's like a good type of pain, I don't know how to explain that. I guess somebody who goes through it will understand that.
Yeah.
But I feel so much productive at work when I go to the morning in the gym that when I don't,
Okay.
I'm awake.
You feel, is your mind sharper?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I feel, for example, I think of my job is that you have to be focused on details, right? I suppose that in your case it's also the same or more.
Depends on certain aspects of it, but because you're working more with numbers,
yes.
So more important for you probably.
You don't want to miss something out and then end up paying someone else the wrong amount of money.
Yeah, mine is more creative, so I can mess up. There are people who would tell me, "Hey, you missed this." I mean,
but at the same time, it's always good just to hand over something and they'll be like, "Hey, man, it's amazing, thank you." Instead of being like, "Hey, I will." Of course, humans are very complicated and difficult itself, but still, especially when it comes to creativity and design and stuff. everybody has their own opinion. You know what I mean? In numbers, it's easier. I work in a fintech, by the way, just in case anyone was asking. So yeah, it's more number related. So but still, you focus on details, you focus on data, you focus on how to do something better. You listen to your colleagues that help you out and tell you do this or do that. I have an amazing colleague. She's like wonderful. She has helped me and taught me a lot. And now I'm starting like to be able to move the train by myself, you know, and it feels good. And when I actually went to the morning to do the exercise, to do everything I wanted to, also it's also a time for myself. Like in the morning, I don't have to deal with anyone. I just put my headphones. There's like 3 people at 7 in the morning in the gym. So that's so nice. And you don't have to fight anyone for the weights. You know, it's nice. It's just like you, yourself, and the gym with some music on. And I hear very different type of music when I'm in the gym. So it's a good place to be. And then like you have already accomplished something. Dude, it's like 8:30 a.m. You have already accomplished something. The day is barely starting and you're just like, check. I've already done this shit. I can tackle anything that comes through me today because I have already done this shit. You know, and then like you see people that are just starting to wake up and trying to go to the office around 9 and 9:30, and you're like, I've already taken a shower. You know, like I have already changed and walking to the office. I'm ready to go, man. Like it empowers you in an aspect. It makes you feel like you can do anything. You know, that's how I feel in that aspect. You don't have to go to the gym in the morning to feel like that. You can literally wake up 7, have a coffee, read your book, have a meditation.
We were talking with Mehdi about like the morning routines in the previous episode. How it's very, very beneficial.
Exactly. Like you need to do whatever like it goes for you. For example, Annie, my girlfriend, what she was doing that was working out for her so much. She doesn't like to do so much like physical activities with strangers, sorry. Right? So she was waking up at the same time as me, having a coffee, and going on a walk, on a 30-40 minute walk with a podcast episode on her headphones, and just walking around. And that was amazing for her, and she felt like she had accomplished something, you know, like exactly like this. But do like that's what I recommend. Do something. If you're not a morning person, I used to sacrifice sleep before, which I thought it was. I mean, I want to do so many things. I need to like accustom my body to sleep this amount of hours, because I did research and they said like something between like anything less than 5 hours a day, you're in trouble. Anything between 6 and 8, technically you'll be okay and you'll be functioning well. But I realized that doesn't work for me, and that's not how you should do it, because many doctors recommend not to do it. So now I don't sacrifice sleep at all. It's one important thing. So now I'm learning, instead of being like, okay, I'm going to sleep late and then I cannot work in the morning, go to the gym. It's like, no. You go to sleep earlier. That way you can wake up earlier, and that way you can do all the things that you need to do. So you just focus on your schedule and make it work for you. And the biggest challenge I have, it's my mind. It's myself.
Definitely.
It's the one, like when you're like Mondays and Wednesdays, I have to go to the office, and then normally when I'm working from home, for example, I can take a 30-minute nap if I don't have that much work or stuff like that. I can, and it helps a lot.
Definitely.
But when I'm in the office, I feel more tired by the end of the day, right? And then like when you're walking home with the backpack, with your computer and everything, and you're like, oh shit, in 35 minutes the training starts, just go there. I already have my clothes set up. That's another thing that helps me a lot, by the way, having my clothes already set up. Like morning exercise, afternoon exercise, have them there ready on the other room or in the couch or whatever, or in my bed, and just going there, taking everything off, like fold my clothes there, grab the gym clothes, my backpack ready, the water ready, everything.
Dude,
set up.
That's a very good point, because I think like not only for the gym, but like in general, I think if you prepare what you're gonna wear, whatever you're doing, it's actually makes it so much easier, and like, you don't think about it. It's like
these little
one less thing to think about.
Dude, it's because waking up at 7 in the morning and you're like, fuck, I don't want to do it. You turn around, you see your clothes already. You don't have to think
Yeah,
about
yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
wear. Is it cold? And like, oh my god,
Yeah.
it's there.
Yeah.
Like, shut the fuck up. It's there.
Yeah.
Like grab it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like, okay, now you already stood up. You already have your clothes. You're like, fuck. I already leave even the coffee ready. So
Nice.
like I already grinded the coffee. I already put it on the coffee machine. I leave the mug there. I only have to press a button.
Oh, so you make it so much easier for yourself in the morning.
Because if I don't, then I might fuck myself as well, and
Okay.
it becomes more difficult for me.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I think I have worked already on self-discipline, which helps me to move forward.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, it was so hard.
Yeah.
So if I did these little things ready,
Yeah.
to have them already ready, um, everything moved like smoother. Everything was smooth. Everything was
Oh yeah.
like right there at the moment. Like there was no much thinking about it. You had it already, like almost like spoon-fed type of thing.
So yeah, so it's like no, so like you reduce the amount of thinking you have to do in a way.
And of effort.
Yeah, because you're kind of like it's much easier to turn it into a routine and like a habit, because it's like you start having kind of a subconscious functioning. Like I get up, there's coffee, there's clothes. Simple. There's no like I'm not gonna sit and like daydream or something like.
No, exactly, dude. Even for work, for my job, I put in my calendar like all the important things I need to do each day that I know that are coming, like client calls or like processing something in our system or whatever it is. Yeah. So I already have those spaces booked.
Yeah.
So it's like if someone asks me like, hey, I need to have a meeting with you or something, but I see in your calendar you have this, I cannot do it another time. I'll be like, let me see if I can move it. If I move it, perfectly fine, which like 90.9% of the time, 99.9% of the time, everything is feasible, right? But I have already there. So like, I already prepare everything I need to do for the work as well. Yeah. It's like I have my notes, I have all the documents I need, I have all the like the numbers, the files, whatever. It's already there. Right? I process everything a day before and I just leave it ready.
Yeah. Just to like simplify some of the stuff for people, because there's a lot of stuff that you're mentioning. No, it's okay. It's okay. It's very interesting. So I would say if you wanna start integrating some of the self-care stuff into your routine, we've been talking about exercising and a lot of like health related things, or just going on a walk, listening to a podcast, just being productive, or even things like taking a nap, right? Because that kind of has to integrate into your day eventually, right? I think in that sense, planning is very important, because and like making things ready will make it much easier for you to actually do it.
Yes. And it takes a lot less time.
Yeah. So actually, if you think about your motivation and your ability to do something as two components of this behavior that are very important for them to happen, you need to have high motivation, and it needs to be easy enough for you to actually do it.
That's where I differ with you.
Okay.
I don't rely on motivation that much.
Okay.
Unfortunately, motivation is a thing that you never know when it's gonna come. Yeah. And when it's there, fucking great. It will help you to push you. It will be amazing. I tend to self-motivate myself a lot. And with little things, I use chocolate, for example. If I did a good job during the day, I will eat an entire bar of chocolate at night. I don't give a shit. That's my reward. Yeah. If I don't, I feel like I did it like a good time, I will withhold the chocolate, for example. That's an example. But I don't like to use motivation as a thing to push myself. I like to use self-discipline. Sometimes motivation is not there. Mike Tyson defined self-discipline as doing the things that you don't want to do, but you have to do, and doing it like you love to do them. Yeah. And that stuck with me. I know that I have a goal, right? With all these exercises I'm doing, the whole idea is to become a lot better in different type of fighting styles. And I'm pushing myself even starting to compete and this kind of stuff because I want to be better in this. So I'm pushing myself there. So there's a lot of days I don't have motivation to go because you're gonna get beat up or something. But it's like I know that if I don't go, I sacrifice not only the money that I spent, the time. I know that I won't learn something new that day. So the self-discipline is to push me over to go there, be there. And once you're there, that's the hardest part.
Yeah.
Because once you're there, even like in your job, man, you wake up and you're like, fuck, nobody needs me at 9 a.m. in the morning in the office. Like, I can do this later on the day.
Yeah.
But once you have it out of your schedule, everything else just falls, like, you know, like falls, like gets in together, and it's a lot better and easier for you. One of the things I also do is I always try to tackle the hardest things first.
Yeah.
That's why the first thing I do is going to, like, in the morning is wake up and go to the gym. The last thing I do at night is meditate.
Yeah.
I used to meditate twice. I can't. I know it's a Buddhist thing, right? Saying like, I don't have time to meditate 10 minutes. You don't have time, then meditate 20. You know, it's a saying, but I like to meditate at night now. When before I was doing it in the morning, but in the morning now I'm forcing myself to go to the gym. Not forcing myself. Yes, forcing myself. And some days I am, but that's a hard thing that I have already done, and like you know, like check it on my to-do list. And then when I get to work, the first thing is I check my emails. I check that there's nothing urgent. I make myself a coffee. I grab some water, like a lot of water. I put myself in front of my computer. I see my to-do lists. I see which one is the hardest, and I tackle that first.
Yeah.
Even though it takes me an hour and a half, or 2 hours to complete. Once it's done, everything else goes like this, man.
Yeah. The motivation part, though, I was not really. I think motivation is kind of, there's a misconception about, because people, once you motivation, people think of like this mystical force or some shit like that, where like it powers you or something.
For me, motivation is like when you put a song in your head, like on your headphones, and it makes you feel to go. That for me is motivation.
I wasn't talking about exactly that motivation.
Okay.
But I mean, I think it's easy to mistake for it. What I'm talking about is more like the mental part of what you do.
Yes.
The mental, like the why behind why you do it, or like all the things you mentioned about, like, you know, the money I'm gonna lose or whatever.
For me, that's goals.
Okay.
Those are the goals.
Okay.
You know, you set up the goals. I write them. I wrote them on paper on my notebook. Like, what am I looking out? I started this because I was fat, very fat. I was like maybe 12 kilos, like too heavy. So I was like, and I used to do a lot of exercise since a little kid growing up. I used to play football. I used to play American football. I used to play basketball. I used to go to the gym. In university, I was like a kind of an athlete. I used to do like 5 hours a day of exercise, and then, like, you know, you grow up, life hits you, you stop.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to balance and shit. And now I was like, I'm on my 30s. Fuck that shit. I want to go back into doing what I love, what I like, it makes me feel good, and at the same time, don't putting aside I love reading books. I love learning new stuff. I love being good at my job, and like people telling me like, hey, it's because I rely on you, or you're reliable. You can help me out, or this kind of stuff, you know? So I like these feelings. I like to feel like productive. I like to feel like I'm good at what I do. That helps me also. Like, that's a motivation. Right? Like a mental motivation, but that's also a goal for me.
Yeah.
So, like, how can I get or reach this goal?
Yeah. So it's like you do have very strong, I'm gonna say, motivation or goals, right? That drive you in a way.
Yeah, but
rationalizations, let's say.
Yes. And also, consistency is a key.
Yeah.
It's something I've seen in my life with me and people near me or that surround me. The issue as well is consistency. People tend to do it one day, stop 2 days, do it again one day, do it the next day, then stop 4.
Yeah.
And it's something that doesn't go well with my head.
Yeah.
Because we're creatures of habit to begin with. if you haven't read this book, Atomic Habits, which I think we have mentioned in many like podcasts as well, there's something that he talks about like habit stacking, a way of changing like wrong habits or hurtful habits or negative habits, if you want to call them like that. Is like you change whatever you were doing with them and you put something else that you want to. So I used to smoke.
Yeah.
So like before I could just like light a cigarette up and read a book. Now what I do is just like make myself a cup of tea and change the cigarette for a tea, but read my book.
Yeah.
You know, and with the exercise, I also did that. I remember I like this type of exercises more than the others.
Yeah.
So I tend to stack them together in a routine. So I like this exercise, I do this one. I don't like this one, I do this one as well. And then I know that I'm gonna do another exercise I like. So like it helps a lot, right? But yeah, just to end with it, the consistency is important, and in the long run, you tend to lose motivation.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. That's what I meant. I don't rely on motivation.
Yeah.
I rely on self-discipline and knowing that this is the goal that I have, and for me to reach this goal, which is all personal. I'm not comparing myself to anyone. I use other like external factors to motivate me as well. Like I don't know, I follow like these amazing fighters like Sugar.
So it's like external motivation.
Yeah, like Volensky, that I see them trainings and stuff. This is only like 100% exercise wise. I use them in different ways for my career, for my profession, and other stuff. And it's like, these are also like external factors. But I have a rule, no? There's like 12 trainings I can do during a week.
Yeah.
If I'm too tired or it's too much work or whatever, I tend to be able to say like, if you do 90% of the trainings, you have succeeded, right? So it's like 9 to 10 trainings a week. You decide which ones you have to sacrifice depending on how you feel and the energy. Don't sacrifice your sleep. Do your work properly. Don't sacrifice your job either. Those are like the important ones, right? Like in my opinion, in my level of importance. So these are the ones that are like the immovable, and then the ones that can be moved. And then like have some days for yourself, or sometimes like during the weekends I say Saturday and Sunday I'm gonna rest. I don't care whatever I do, and that's my social gathering as well. Or it can be a day for myself, and I'm like, I'm not leaving my house today, or like I'm going just to go on a hike or whatever. But like during the week, I need to do all of this, or at least try to do 90% of it.
Yeah, it's a very strange thing with self-care, because it's like you need to have discipline to care about yourself in a way, because a lot of people can be busy. You can I think it's not that difficult to make yourself busy.
It's super easy to
It's
make
very
yourself
easy.
busy.
But I think taking care of yourself while doing that takes a bit more discipline. Obviously, depending on your existing habits and your background and everything, it can be more difficult. For example, for me, one of the interesting things is that I used to go to the gym a lot, like like 3-4 times a week. I mean, 5 times sometimes. For me, that was like good amount, and I wasn't that busy at the time. I've done that for like when I was in university. I was like had much more free time, and I was able to sacrifice more time. And now that I'm much more busier, like compared to that, it's like crazy amounts of busy now. But now it takes discipline. It takes some more thinking about it and how to integrate that into your current routine and your current day. Things that as you mentioned, what's important, what's not, what takes priority, what doesn't take priority, things you have to sacrifice. There are it If you think about something that's easy to do and something that's hard to do, now it's much harder to do, right? And I think one of the cool things that you've mentioned is that when you're busy, making it easier by setting up these things, setting up your clothes or doing these simple, making it a routine, planning things, which a lot of people neglect because no one likes really planning. I think it's like such a uh, I don't know. It's like planning. To me personally, I procrastinate when it comes to
Yeah.
planning. Although I know when I plan, it's much better day.
Yeah.
But I sometimes procrastinate when it comes to planning, and then I can definitely feel that you pay for it somehow. Uh,
I want to add something in an aspect for planning and a way I see it. Planning is just putting a structure
yeah,
on something, but leaving it empty inside.
yeah,
So it's like, how can I explain this in a better way? It's like, for example, I don't know, with my mother that is here, right?
yeah,
We need to do like go out and do touristic shit and stuff like
yeah,
that. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna plan a day for her that she's gonna be happy and I'm gonna be happy as well, and I have to do all this stuff.
yeah,
So how can I do this? So it's like, okay, one thing that she must see today is Sagrada Familia, for
yeah,
example.
yeah,
If like this is a must, period. Everything else that we do, we can go and eat paella in the sea, we can go over here and see Gaudi or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
This
yeah.
is if we do it, super cool. If we don't, no fucking
Okay,
problems.
it's like optional kind of
Exactly.
bonus.
And
Yeah,
then you just take it by this, like, play it by ear, as they say. But you have done this. So it's the same for like in my routine, in my
I see.
like day-to-day routine. It's like gym in the morning, work during this time, training this time, reading, meditating, working on the podcast as well,
Yeah,
if
yeah, yeah,
whatever, like, you know what I mean? And it's like, I just set up the structure. So I leave my clothes ready, I leave the coffee ready, and I know I have my routine. But then the amount of time it's going to take me will depend on me, of how I'm feeling that day. It can take me a lot less, it can take me a lot more.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely, yeah,
That's not something that I plan. I
yeah,
just plan to go there, I have everything ready. And like I plan to, like, for example, I take more time, I tend to leave the house earlier. So if
yeah,
I take more time, I still have time to be in the office,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
at least like 10 minutes late maximum, for
yeah,
example. And then I pay that time back, like I stay 10 minutes more, or during my lunchtime I shorten my lunchtime. That's on me. Everybody do whatever works
yeah,
for
yeah,
you,
yeah.
but that's like how it works for me. Or if I like, if you do the things that you need to do, that's good. That's good enough. If you everything extra that comes from it, like, do a palm on your back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That should make you feel better.
That's very good. I like that. That's like setting like a minimum success rate, kind of. Like
Exactly.
what's the what are these things I have to do, and as you said, try to put them first in the day. That means you'll definitely do it.
Yeah.
Um,
Because then you'll have the rest of the day for yourself.
yeah,
Do like whatever you feel like doing. There's some days that is like, I don't know, like Saturday you have plans and stuff. It's like, okay, it's my friend's birthday. I'm gonna go there, give her or him a hug, stay there for 2 hours, and be like, listen, I need
yeah,
to chill. Thank you for everything. But you were there.
yeah,
You were at that moment. You with your presence. You wish them the best, the luck, and then you can go back home or do whatever you need to do for yourself. But you did what you needed to do. So then you won't feel like a piece of shit afterwards.
yeah,
You know what I mean? This is
yeah,
an example. This works
yeah, yeah,
with everything in life as well, man. Another thing, for example, is eating healthy.
yeah,
That it has cost me some time. I like cooking. I don't like the time it takes me to cook.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
So it's of course easier to order food, but then you're not eating as healthy as you wish to.
yeah,
Because when you buy food, you buy proper, like,
yeah, yeah.
veggie pasta,
Of
you
course.
buy a bunch of vegetables, proper meat. Like, like you go to a butcher and you will say like, I want this cow that was eating that grass and was
Yeah,
not
yeah,
like
yeah.
whatever.
You use the right oil,
Yeah,
like
olive oil, like I try to
yeah,
avoid seed oils
yeah,
because seed oils are bullshit for your organism.
definitely.
Dude, once in a while I also go to McDonald's and stuff my face.
Yeah, it's okay.
You
It's
have to live
balance.
here and
Yeah,
there. You
yeah,
cannot just be a fucking robot. Don't get me
yeah,
wrong.
yeah,
But if the majority of your time you're doing things right, then you have won, in my opinion, right? I saw this guy saying that during a year, you have to set up one thing that you will remember that year for doing. You know, like I stopped smoking on 2022. I started my podcast on 2022, right? Then you have to have 6 mini adventures. Like, I don't know, I went and I saw the Alps in Italy for hikings. I went to Seville for holidays with my mother. You don't even go that far if you don't even have the money. Be like, dude, I started like a card box company on the side hustle and I make $30 a week. That's an accomplishment. That's also like an adventure. I walked to Girona, like whatever. Girona is a city near Barcelona, just in case anyone's wondering. Whatever. But fulfill these 6 little adventures, this big thing, and then just do like day on day basis tasks that you need to do, and then you have won. By the time you're older or whatever your age you actually might reach, because that's something that people don't tend to discuss, is that you don't fucking know how much time you have here. But at the same time, you're not gonna live every day like it's your last. Like, I'm gonna go and spend all my fucking money in like going fucking like a trip to Australia because I might die tomorrow. It doesn't work like that. So in my head, like, so you don't know if you're gonna get run over tomorrow, but that doesn't mean you wasted your life because you were not like traveling all around the world. You just take advantage of the time that you have and do the things according to your own perspective that are okay for you, and never fuck anybody else. Fuck someone up. That's how I tend to roll. Sorry, I think I have hijacked this, man. It's
I'm like kind of directing the conversation at the same time. So yeah, but I do like what you talked about when it comes to cooking as well. I think one of the reasons why for me as well, for a lot of people, I mean, cooking can be time consuming.
It is.
You know, it's like hard to do. I think looking at like if you can find a way to whatever you're doing, if you can find a way to just make it easier on yourself a little bit, however much you can. It'll make it, trust me, it will make it easier for you to do it. Like you will actually do it, the behavior. You know, if you can make it like with cooking, for example, buying things that were cut up already is a perfect example. If you buy a carrot that you have to peel and cut versus buying a carrot that was already cut up,
but it's more expensive.
It's more expensive. But just from the pure perspective of
I agree,
making it easier,
I agree.
It's like, oh, I just have to open this package, pour it here, and good.
What I do is I'm starting to meal prep.
Okay.
So on Sunday, I'll stay 3 hours in the kitchen, or Annie will also do that, and we'll do meal preps.
Nice.
And then you have lunch for Monday, Tuesday, Thursday.
Nice.
And then dinner, you just try to do a basic dinner, man. You don't have to go all go and beyond.
Yeah.
Like you know, like a piece of meat or a little bit of pasta. Simple recipe.
Again, make it easier.
Yeah, exactly.
Simple, nutritious,
straightforward.
Tasty.
Eat a salad
with
a little bit of cream cheese and a pear. It takes you 10 minutes to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, you want a fucking classy, I don't know, whatever you saw on Pinterest type of Thai noodles that will take you 2 hours to cook. It's like, if you do this on a Saturday and that you have nothing to do, go ahead. But like if you do it on a Monday and then you're like, fuck, it's already 10 p.m. It's like, maybe you shouldn't have done this on a Monday. Maybe you could just like, do a quesadilla.
Yeah. I think also, for a lot of people who can cook well, like they know, like they're used to the cooking of this recipe or whatever it is. It can take like 25, 30 minutes max to make something really nice.
That's how I see my mother right now that she's with us. She likes to cook and she cooks fantastic. And then like I know how to cook because she taught me as well. And I had cooking classes when I was like in university. But dude, like the same recipe that she gave me, it will take me 45 minutes to make. It is good.
Yeah.
She does it in 20 and it's amazing. It's like, I kind of hate you right now. But I mean, like, it's, you know, habit.
I remember there was this one thing like a few years ago. I signed up for the this meal package thing where they send you
Ah,
the
yeah.
not the meals but like the vegetables and the ingredients.
Yeah, yeah, to
So you make
cook.
it. They give you the recipe and you cook.
And very easy, right? Everything
Yeah.
already like chopped up and everything, or it
No,
was just like
this was
that?
not chopped up.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
some of it was made easier, kind of, but most of the vegetables they were not. So you
Okay.
have to do it yourself. And in the recipe it says like it takes like it writes how long it takes. So they take that into account that this is for busy people. So we need to put like, okay, this recipe it will take you 35 minutes or something like that. And for me it always ended up being an hour when I'm like reading this, like how, but then I realized that like people who cook well a lot of times like they can multitask in a way, like they
Yeah,
can put this thing to cook and then they do cut this thing while that's cooking. So they like
yeah,
a simple example with the pasta, you put it to boil and then you make the rest, but then you have to be fast,
yeah,
while as soon as it's done you already saved like half the time. 10 minutes you have the sauce and everything.
yeah. Or while the water is boiling, you have already the pasta on a container, but you're
Yeah.
doing the sauce on the
Yeah,
side.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's how. But then for me, because I'm still discovering the recipe, I'm like step by step. Let me cut this first. Okay, we're good. Now let me put this thing. And then
Yeah,
it stacks up being like an hour. But
you.
when it comes to cooking, I think like it's all about. There are so many factors, right? How easy it is. How experienced you are with it, what kind
Yeah,
of recipe it is. But at the end of the day, if you want to start doing it, pick something that's tasty that you like and that's easy to cook, right?
and dude, one thing about recipes that majority people don't think is that you can change ingredients from it,
Oh yeah.
and it will be a total different dish, like almost.
Yeah.
Like you have, I don't know, chicken parmesan. Take out the chicken, do it with pork. No, you have
Yeah.
pork parmesan, and it still tastes good. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it's a
yeah.
little bit different, and your head will be like, I'm not eating the same shit every day.
Yeah.
Like it's a little bit different,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's like something here. You need to know like 4 or 5 dishes
And rotate them
and
kind of.
rotate them, and just change ingredients here and there. And then when you have time, try new
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Even when people order food, even when I order, it's not like I order new things every time.
Dude,
It's
you
the
eat the same
same
shit.
things.
Yeah, from the same restaurants that you love.
Yeah.
And the same dishes. Because we're human, we're creatures of habit, man.
Yeah.
It's like I love this like noodle Thai restaurant. I have not tried anything else there but their fucking
Yeah.
pad Thai. And I don't give a shit, man. I love that pad Thai. That's the only thing I'm gonna eat, man. You know?
Same. Actually, I do have a restaurant where I order the pad thai as well, and it's the same one, and
Is
I
the,
don't get anything
and I don't
else.
get anything else. And it's like, do you want to try? No, fuck you. I want my pad Thai. That's it. That's it. And then, dude, like, there's like this burger place called like Vicio,
Mhm.
and I love this double cheeseburger. They have 17 different types of
Yeah, yeah,
burgers. They have like 5 different types of
yeah,
cheeseburgers. I want that one.
yeah.
That's
So
it.
yeah, 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 yeah. And
Yeah.
even when it comes to the time thing, for a lot of people, it's like even if you order it, it's gonna take 25, 30 minutes to arrive. In that time, you can just cook the thing yourself,
Yeah.
like
And I love the idea of cheat meals, right? You like you see them like especially for like bodybuilders and stuff like that. Like that you have a cheat meal a week and stuff like that. That
yeah,
is I personally like to play like during the week, eat at
yeah,
home, don't spend money
yeah,
out on food that is unnecessary because sometimes you're just being fucking lazy. Eat healthy. At least try to eat a salad a day or 3 a week. Like when it comes to meat, I like to eat meat and I eat a lot of meat, and I'm sorry, but that's the way I am. Like try to have them a variety of them, like between chicken, between beef, between pork, because I love pork, but it's not the healthiest one.
yeah,
Try to buy the best type, go to a butchery, like a
yeah,
local butchery. If I have to, I will buy them from Mercadona. Lately, we've been buying them from Mercadona because we do the entire thing at once. But I mean, you can move around. You
yeah,
can try to do things. Just see what works out for you, but try. Don't just be like, oh,
yeah,
this is too hard, fuck it, and then
yeah,
just
yeah,
turn the
yeah.
TV on. Like, nah.
Yeah, I think when it comes to these things, it's important to try it. Like, set a goal, do it for a few days, for a week, and see how the effect is on you. Because I think that for a lot of people, if you're not doing any of these things, right, or if you don't exercise at all, right, I think if you say, okay, this week I'm gonna get up earlier in the morning and go for a walk or something, right? See what the effect it has on you,
Yeah.
you know? And if you like the effect, that's gonna help you keep doing the thing actually, right? Because it's
Yeah.
like now it's like, okay, I'm more productive now. I'm performing better. I don't want to go back to my previous state where I wasn't as like you can clearly see the difference
Yeah.
now in your
Yes.
state, right?
Yes.
And that by itself is like reinforcing you to continue doing it in a way. It's like same going with the gym, right? Like
Yes.
get better muscles. I like my muscles. I keep doing it, more muscles, and then and then I want to maintain the muscle.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Dude, it's like I started going to the gym in November of last year. So I've been there for a year and a month.
Yeah.
Like constantly improving. I didn't start doing the amount of exercise I'm doing right now. I used to just try
Yeah.
to go every day.
Yeah,
Dude, I was like 110 kilos. I'm a big bitch.
yeah.
Now I'm like 95.
Yeah.
I feel better. I'm not. I used to smoke a lot. Now I'm not smoking at all. Like I've been 90 days without a single like drop of alcohol. Not because I want to. Don't get me wrong. Drink your drinks. I'm not against that.
Yeah.
Chill. I also will eventually go back to drinking, but it's just like the moderation of it. Not like only like this is the only thing I need to do.
Yeah.
Personal shit. Don't crucify me. But like in my head, this has helped me so much in a way of like this is what I like the idea of what I would like to be, right? Or how I'm getting there or approach to it. I also I like to be someone that can do it by themselves, right? It's like I don't like when people they just tell you a story and that's only a story for you. It's like no, I also lived it. I also experienced it. Nobody can tell me anything from like I know how the experience feels. So when I had this guy telling me like my goal in a couple of years is to be able to do an Ironman, something like that.
Yeah.
That would be so cool.
Yeah.
Just the idea of being able to process this will be so incredible for me, right? Like, and for now it's still just a story, but
Yeah.
eventually it won't be a story, it will be an experience. When running a 10K, you know, I have run 10Ks and stuff. When they told you, like, man, you feel so good at the end, it's like, yeah, you feel so good at the end. It is true. It is an effort. It is sacrifice. Everything in life is sacrifice.
Yeah.
You cannot do everything. You have to choose one thing for the other all the time because you cannot clone yourself and be everywhere with everyone doing everything. You can't. You can't. Life doesn't work like that. You have to choose. And it's like as we said in the beginning, like there's two types of pains: the pain of regret or the pain of self-discipline. So choose your pain. And whatever it is, even if for you is playing video games, there's this challenge like a while back that it came out like on Call of Duty.
Yeah.
They said that for every kill you need to do 50 push-ups.
I don't know about that.
It was some like a challenge like that. I'm not entirely sure, but it was something like that. And like gamers, mainly in the US, of course, they started like to feel like the rips out of it, and they started like to use it like to brag, right?
Okay.
And like you know, this is called habit stacking. When you do something that you like and you mix something that you don't like to get like something out of it in a good way. So like for Annie was like walking for 45 minutes and listening to a podcast. She loves listening to podcasts. She hates walking.
Yeah.
Put them together.
Yeah.
It becomes bearable, it becomes better, and then it becomes something that she's like looking forward.
Yeah. Because you're kind of looking forward to the podcast.
Yeah.
And now it's attached to the behavior of walking.
Yeah.
So now you're like, oh, I want to enjoy the podcast, so I'm going to go for a walk to enjoy the podcast.
And it becomes the entire routine, right? Of I need to, oh my God, I'm so looking forward to waking up, being a little bit chilly and sipping that coffee in the morning, you know? One of my favorite feelings in the world is when it's cold outside, like very, very fucking cold, and then you stand in the sun and you feel like the sun like warming you up a little bit. That's one of my favorite feelings in the world, right? So like when in the morning, like going for a run and be like you're like running and then you feel like the sun hitting you, but it's fucking cold. You're like, okay,
but you feel that warmth a
Yeah,
little bit.
this is cool.
It's the best sun.
Yeah, this is cool. And just living moment by moment. I don't know. This is this is all I got for you guys,
But
ladies
no,
and
that's
gentlemen.
yeah. Just to kind of round up a lot of the things that we talked about, I think when it comes to self-care, um, the main thing that I understood is that obviously it takes discipline. It
Yeah,
takes effort to actually care about yourself, to integrate these things into your routine so that your your life is easier, you're healthier.
yeah.
Because being busy is one thing, and then being able to stay consistent is another thing. Not burning out,
Yes,
you know.
I think women in general know this more than us when it comes to makeup, like beauty
Yeah,
processes and stuff, because they we can talk about the
yeah,
social concept of
yeah,
it or whether how it came through or the
yeah,
toxicity behind it, but there's also good behind it
yeah,
because they're also trying to maintain themselves, like they work on themselves, they do this all this bunch of
yeah.
shit that takes so much
Yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah. It's training you in a way
Yeah,
to think that way, because
yeah.
men don't think that way.
We tend not to. There's many that do, of course, and there's also many that do makeup, of
Yeah.
course, and to each their own, be happy, and you know what I mean. But like just generalizing something.
Yeah.
Imagine like if you're a girl and you're already used to doing like an hour a day of like like exfoliating your
Yeah,
face,
yeah,
making it pretty, then putting on makeup. Imagine that you already know how this process works. Now put it and focus it on something else as well that can help
yeah,
you or benefit you.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like doing this at the same time by listening to a podcast and listening to something new, and this is habit stacking, or doing the same amount of effort and energy like on exercise on a treadmill. Like
yeah,
I don't know, whatever.
yeah,
It's just an example of that of seeing a way that you already do these things, but you could like focusing on other things and doing better things or whatever works for you.
yeah,
Basically, that was the entirety of this
yeah,
example.
yeah, yeah. Another thing that I think that is important to think about, obviously, is your health, because to me it's all about like the longevity, and not only that, but also how you perform and your mind. You know, a lot of the things that you mentioned, it benefits your cognitive functioning,
Yeah.
um, how you feel, you know, your physical health. um, in a way, it's you know, it takes discipline and effort to be your best self in a way, you know.
Yes.
And if you're busy, you're already halfway there. You're on your way to greatness. Now you just need to stabilize it, kind of, to make it
Yeah.
a smoother ride.
But it's a balance. Like the Greeks used to say, like healthy body, healthy mind.
Yeah,
How do you expect to have a healthy mind if you're just eating crap all day, you're not moving
yeah,
from your fucking couch? I'm sorry, it doesn't work like that.
yeah,
Life is a balance.
yeah,
You cannot be like entirely just physical and just the only thing I do is be 8 hours in the gym and that's it. It's like
yeah,
maybe you should read a book here and there.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And you cannot be like, I only read 17 books a day and just eat this and game the rest of the time and don't do shit. It's like maybe you should start walking a little bit.
yeah. You're also the way your attitude and your emotional self is affected,
Yeah.
because you know, if you're healthier, you're happier, you
And you
know,
vibe and you bring the same type of
you
vibes
bring
towards you.
positive vibes.
Your thoughts will change. The people around you will change. Like the work you do will change.
Yeah,
Everything you'll be starting like vibing in a higher frequency. Even it sounds hippy dippy. It is true, man. It is true. Like
yeah,
that is true. We are energetic beings,
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
we work like that. If you work on yourself to be a better human, in your perspective, to be healthier, to eat better, to move more.
yeah,
It's like for everyone that tries to get like a little bit of more healthy habits, research Dr. Sebi. He's impressive because he talks about like how he cured people with cancer just by changing their diet into natural diets and movement.
yeah,
No chemo, no bullshit. Just and he actually brought like 88 or something around like subjects that he cured into court when he got sued by
Really?
he got sued by Big
Dang.
Pharma, if I'm not
Oh,
mistaken.
shit.
If I'm not mistaken. But yeah, it's a crazy story, and it's not that popularized, and it's not
Yeah.
also like that much on social media because I don't know. You'll get to your own conclusions, but I believe there's always something behind it. But yeah, that's something important that maybe you could just research and be like the basic of just eating natural and basic and straightforward food
Yeah.
and just move. You cannot be static. We were not built to be static. You don't have like, just move.
Yeah.
Whatever works with you.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, that was. I hope that was.
Impressive or incredible for you guys.
Yeah, I hope that was useful. I hope we've delivered something there that you find valuable. I think there was a lot of interesting things there, a lot of interesting tips that I personally found useful for myself as well.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So yeah, hope you guys have a good rest of the day or have a good
Wonderful
night.
start of the weekend or week whenever you're listening
whenever
to
you're
this.
listening. And we'll see you on the next episode.
Right.
Thank you.
Cheers. Yay!
Nice.
Oh my god.
Good.
Your coffee's amazing.
It just energized